Carl Jung, the foundational psychiatrist and healer, famously defined neurosis as the avoidance of necessary suffering. What did he mean by that? Isn't suffering supposed to be a bad thing? And aren't doctors supposed to cure it for their patients? How can it be necessary? What Jung understood, and what our culture has forgotten, is that there are two types of suffering, and confusing them will ruin your life. Necessary suffering is the pain that transforms you. It's the discomfort of discipline when you'd rather stay comfortable. The vulnerability of real relationships when isolation feels safer. The grief you need to feel to let go. The fear you push through to grow. It's the suffering that comes from committing to something and accepting what you're giving up. Facing truths about yourself you've been avoiding. Taking responsibility instead of playing victim. Building something real instead of dreaming about it. Processing old wounds instead of numbing them. This is the suffering that makes you stronger, the kind you can be proud of. The pain that has meaning. Our ancestors understood this. Every warrior culture, every spiritual tradition, every rite of passage involved necessary suffering, not because they were cruel, because they knew. You don't become whole by avoiding pain. You become whole by going through it. But there's another type of suffering, the kind that destroys you. Unnecessary suffering is the pain you create by running away. It's the chaos of addiction when you won't face your demons, the shame spiral when you won't forgive yourself, the destroyed relationships when you won't be vulnerable, the wasted years when you won't commit. It's what happens when you drink or use to avoid feeling, create drama to distract from real problems, stay stuck to avoid the risk of changing, sabotage success because you're afraid of being seen, live small to protect an ego that keeps shrinking anyway. In recovery circles, there's a dark joke. The ism in alcoholism stands for I seek misery, because that's what we do when we run from necessary suffering. And the pain we create is always worse than the pain we're running from. Here's the cruel irony. The necessary suffering you avoid becomes the unnecessary suffering you endure. Won't face your past. You'll repeat it. Won't grieve your losses. You'll carry them forever. Won't risk commitment. You'll live in lonely chaos. Won't confront your shadow. It'll control you from the darkness. Jung called this neurosis. We might call it anxiety, depression, addiction, or just stuck. But it's all the same pattern, running from the pain that would set you free, straight into the pain that keeps you prisoner. The man who won't do the hard work of building something real will suffer the empty ache of wasted potential. The man who won't face his fear will suffer the shame of cowardice. The man who won't let himself grieve will suffer the numbness of being half alive. You're going to suffer either way. The only question is, will your suffering mean something? So what's the answer? Stop running, turn around, face what you've been avoiding, not because it'll be easy, not because you'll feel ready, but because the only way out is through. This is what Jung meant by individuation, becoming whole by integrating everything you've been running from, your shadow, your limitations, your mortality, your responsibility. This is what recovery teaches. You don't heal by protecting yourself from discomfort. You heal by finally accepting the hard truths you've been medicating away. This is the hero's journey, leaving the false comfort of your small life and crossing the threshold into the real one. Yes, it's painful, but it's the pain that transforms you. The good news? Once you stop creating unnecessary suffering through avoidance, you discover something surprising. Necessary suffering is actually bearable. More than bearable, it's meaningful. It's the suffering that makes you respect yourself again. So here's the question you need to answer honestly. What necessary suffering are you avoiding right now? What hard conversation won't you have? What discipline won't you maintain? What truth won't you face? What threshold won't you cross? Whatever it is, that's where your freedom is waiting. Stop running. Start walking toward it. That's necessary suffering, and it's the only kind that sets you free.